Greetings, viewers, and welcome to the first episode of CC Thoughts. This is where I'll be taking a look at aspects in the commentary community as a whole, and be giving my thoughts on them. Not sure if this in itself could be considered commentary, but if you guys want to treat it like that, go right ahead. For this video, I'll be addressing the issue of avatars used by commentators. Since joining the CC, I've only really seen 4 people talk about this issue. Socraturtles, Dear Me, and of course my leafy clothes husbandos, Siphon and Seriously Isaac. Socraturtles has recently disowned his video, plus it was already covered by Sketch TV and Aaron Tempest, so there's hardly anything I could say without repeating their points. But I will try.
Lazyness. If you've seen any of the videos from the SCC, you'll notice that they take random pictures and put them in a slideshow with their audio commentary over it, hence the name. And this brings up my first issue, laziness. Because obviously they don't draw their own pictures, because that will take effort. They just get random pictures from Google Images.
Technically, a lot of images that show up on Google Images count as PNGs, background or no. Even with backgrounds, there are editing softwares that allow you to remove them if you wish. Depending on the software you're using, and either the attention to detail or skill of the person editing the image, it can take anywhere between seconds to hours.
One of the sub-issues of this is that they use stupid characters like Rainbow Dash or Applejack or Rarity, where it's impossible to take them seriously.
Well then, I guess we can take commentators like Bearing, Battening, Mr. Dapperton, Just a Robot, or the Ranting Monkey. Seriously, since I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there who would say that their avatars look stupid. Hell, Grade A and 8 was considered one of the more respected members of the commentary community, and his OC is just a stick figure with a big chin made in MS Paint. Someone could just as easily call Sakura's avatar stupid, and use that as an excuse not to take him seriously. Dismissing whatever point someone might make because you think their avatar looks stupid is just dumb. It's been a tactic used by the detractors of the commentary community for a long time now, and it's never worked once.
It's also annoying whenever you say your own character, like Mr. Dirtbag Redden over here. I mean, I don't watch My Little Pony, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Rainbow Dash isn't a 20-something-year-old man that can't stop swearing every other second. Oh, sorry, you're not Rainbow Dash? I couldn't tell, seeing as you use Rainbow Dash as your avatar.
Yeah, I don't ever once remember Redden ever once being in character when he used Rainbow Dash as his avatar. Redden has always played the loudmouth, regardless of whatever avatar he was using. Now, he might not have done this while he was using Batman as his avatar a long time ago. Honestly, I don't remember. And neither Comment Jack or Carmonito1 ever gave off the impression that they were pretending to be their avatars when they were using Applejack and Rarity. You do know that playing clips might have actually helped your case rather than just taking screenshots. The only person I can think of who plays their avatar in character would be Supersonic Ward 15, since he uses Rainbow Dash as his avatar, and the background for the bulk of his videos is her cloud house. It's not exactly in character, but it still has aspects of the character he is using. This sort of ties into a point made by Seriously Isaac. That was a good segue, right?
A subdivision of the commentary community that uses screenshots from video games, movies, television, and anime as avatars. Now, there's a very obvious problem with this. An avatar is defined as a visual representation of yourself. On the internet, the avatar is synonymous with yourself.
He's not wrong to an extent. Boonslayer, Ryan Rhino Mills, Raven, and Dylan Thomas all have avatars that represent themselves. However, Isaac also assumes that just because you use an avatar from an anime or a video game, that automatically means that you are a fan of the franchise that you are using that character from. Even though after having spoken with Serious Gamer 33, he said he hates Steven Universe despite using Jasper as his main avatar. Going by Isaac's logic, I guess I'm a fan of South Park, since I'm using an avatar that was made in the character maker. Or it could be, that I might want to have played around with what my character would look like in the South Park style. Yeah, I think I'll go with that narrative.
Not only does it not represent the creator in a unique way, but it is incredibly lazy.
Before you took your video down, you said in the description that you do not own the gameplay you're using. People have since claimed that it's hypocritical of you to call slideshow commentaries lazy, when this in itself is also subjectively lazy. Or objectively lazy. I'm sure someone in one of the chats I'm in will correct me on that. There's a reason why I called you a leafy clone, Isaac. Without any audio, there's barely any way to tell who's playing the game on screen right now. All you did was take random gameplay footage from somewhere and put your audio over it. Without your audio, no one would be able to tell whether this is you or Leafy.
If someone spent the time to create their own unique avatar, it's an objectively better avatar than someone who screenshots an anime.
Except multiple people in the commentary community had been using their own original characters long before you put out your video. Here's a list for you. You'd have known about these people if you and Sai hadn't been such lazy fucks and actually done some goddamn research. And to add on to this, there is absolutely no reason why you couldn't have known about dual tones in YouTube Dude, since Siphons shows their channels at the end of his video on Can. Now I agree that using an original character can help you stand out in the sea of faces on any video sharing platform, but that alone should not dictate whether a channel that has an original character is superior to a channel where the commentator uses an avatar from an anime or game. There's another reason why I can get behind the idea of OC avatars, but I'll get to that later. Now I'm gonna go back to Siphon's original avatar video.
The MS Paint style characters and profile pictures they have, including Nighted Eye's avatar, which seems to only tell us that he's a furry. I mean, then again, that's ignoring the fact that he is actually a brony.
Well, I guess that means that every YouTuber ever with an animal avatar is a furry! Except no, it doesn't. Saying that any YouTuber who uses an animal as their avatar is a furry, and that somehow gives you an idea of what their content is like, is fucking lazy as hell. Also, by the time you put up this video, I hadn't done anything furry related on my channel, and mentioning I'm a brony has nothing to do with my channel banner either. Literally, the only reason you know I'm a brony is because you tweeted at me, "I'm not following you to watch brony trash," in response to say that I liked a brony related video. Do you just have something against people who don't use robots as their avatars? Later on, Sai brings up the subject of character stealers. Literally the only commentator I think would qualify would have been Sinnoh back when he was making commentaries. He started off with a regular Nibbler vector before recoloring it to make it an OC. But none of the other commentators I watch have claimed that a copyright character was their own character. And before you point to Manga Kamen, he has recently redesigned his Skull Kamen character. Let's move on to his second video.
Irrelevant.
And the third laughed and called you guys a Leafy clone.
Now this is kind of funny actually, because one, I'm as much of a Leafy clone as Nighted Eye, and number two, by this logic, your unbiased friend believes anyone that uses gameplay is a Leafy clone. Not to mention how these days, anyone the commentary community doesn't like, they compare to Leafy.
Other than my previous statement, the term Leafy clone is used for any gameplay commentator who uses a style similar to Old No Chin. What is Leafy known for other than using gameplay footage and commentating over it? Being monotone and going after easy targets. Similar to what you and Isaac did. No, it isn't just that you and Isaac use gameplay footage in your videos. It's that your style is similar to one of the most disliked commentators on YouTube. On the subject of gameplay commentaries, however, two of my favorite commentators are Hi, I'm a Snake and theRandomShark. Shark and Snake use gameplay footage in their videos, but what separates them from Leafy clones is that their videos are actually insightful. They actually do research and have substance to their words. Whereas you and Isaac just went off your assumptions.
This is my final word on that whole character stealing avatar thing. It's all just a bunch of random shit that doesn't make any sense. Well, right then I'm talking about the defense against it.
Even then, just because they use characters from anime and video games doesn't mean they think they own the character.
In my video, I never mentioned anything about how they think they own the characters. I said they character steal, which they do. Some Japanese artists probably spent hours, maybe even days making that avatar you use.
That literally debunks nothing I said. You make it sound like any artist who came across my videos and saw me using Delphox, L, Excalibur, QB, Tomoe, or Edgeworth that they'd break down and start crying from hurt feelings or something. Do you really think that artists that have contributed to geek culture would care that some random schmuck on the internet is using their art in his videos? Lastly, we have Dear Me. For those of you who don't know, Dear Me was a supporter of the ex-DeviantArt writer Icy Hazard. Icy got into a bit of drama by responding poorly to criticism from commentators, and fans like Dear Me here blindly white-knighted for her. Icy has since apologized for her poor behavior and seems to be on good terms with people in the CC, and like Socraturtles, DM here has long since disowned her video. Now, I'm not doing this to be a dick to Dear Me, but just to respond to one of the things she said in her video.
I'm also believe that Doodles isn't aware the bigger your channel grows, the more and more you're no longer under the radar of YouTube. I watched one of my favorite YouTubers do the exact thing that Doodles is doing right now. The YouTuber that used to do, copy and cropping image was Bearing. He Googled a cartoon bear and he used it for his videos. But as his channel grew, one of his friends mentioned he should start using his own artwork to avoid any copyright strike issue. So he did that, but he did, I had the bear sitting in a chair. But he still used the top portion of the original bear's head. Well, as time moved forward, the company Teletoon noticed Bearing was using one of their background characters from a cartoon known as Total Drama Island. Teletoon did not take too kindly to this, so they put 5 copyright strikes against Bearing's channel, and Bearing's channel was terminated after that.
How do you think Teletoon even knew about Bearing? The story goes that several of his detractors had such a hate boner for the guy that they contacted the Teletoon studio and told them that Bearing was using their assets to harass the guy, when he wasn't. It also doesn't help that Bearing tried selling merchandise with that character on it. Even his friends and fans agreed that this was a stupid move on his part. But on that note, I mentioned in a comment on Boonslayer's commentary on Just a Robot that a lot of commentators had started using OCs and not using copyright characters as their avatars as much. I concluded that this was a means of avoiding copyright, but Boone told me that he had never received a copyright strike every time he used Blaziken as his avatar. Of course, it also helps that Boone never put those characters on stuff that he wanted to sell, and thus never faced the same legal issues that Bearing did. And that's basically all I had to say for this video. Now, it could be argued that some of these arguments had a bit of weight to them, but that weight was carried poorly by people who knew next to nothing about the CC. It really shouldn't matter what kind of avatar you use, since an avatar is just something to look at. I feel the whole reason Avatargate got as big as it did was because both sides responded poorly to criticism, and I want to feel that I at least did a better job here than I did in my 2 videos on Ice Against Psy. This video isn't meant to be damage control for Avatargate, more just me examining why there are criticisms against people using avatars, and hopefully sparking a debate on this subject. With that said, this is Night I Die saying thanks for listening, and please share your thoughts with me.